Good morning children. In previous class we learnt about photosynthesis and we learnt about autotrophic nutrition in green plants, and also we learnt about some experiments which related to photosynthesis, and we learnt about the importance of CO2 in plants and oxygen, how to test green plant release oxygen in green plant and how to test presence of starch in green leaves. Next, let us discuss about another important topic in first lesson, nutrition. One of the important external factor, that is sunlight, is necessary to form starch in green plants. Another experiment, sunlight is necessary to form starch in green plants. Before that, we will learn about sunlight. Do you know sunlight is the one of the radiation which coming from sun. Along with light, sun rays, sun releases X-rays, gamma rays, UV rays. Sunlight is the important external factor which is essential for photosynthesis. Without sunlight, green plants cannot perform photosynthesis. Sunlight consists of small particles called photons. Keep it in mind, very important. Sunlight or light rays consist of small particles called photons. These photons contain energy called quantum. What is that? Quantum. This quantum energy helpful to form starch or carbohydrates in green plants. Next experiment in first lesson, sunlight is necessary to form starch in green plants. First we have to write aim. What is the aim of this experiment? To prove that sunlight is necessary to form starch in green plants. Materials required are apparatus. First, a well-potted plant with narrow leaves. First apparatus or materials required is a well-potted plant with narrow leaves, light screen with S-shaped cut portion, or you have to take any letter or L or T, whatever it may be, and iodine solution. Only three requirements. One is well-potted plant and a light screen with S-shaped cut portion, iodine solution. Procedure. Take a well-potted plant, keep it in dark for a week to de-starch. What do you remember de-starch? You learnt in previous classes. Removal of starch from plant. Select a narrow leaf and attach a light screen with S-shaped cut portion into the one of the leaf. Keep the entire setup, means entire potted plant in sunlight for 3 to 4 hours. After that, observation side heading. After that, cut the leaf from the plant. And test for starch. Already we know about the procedure to test presence of starch in green leaves. Already we learned in previous classes. So test for starch. The part of the leaf which receives sunlight. Which part receives sunlight here? S-shaped cut portion, and remaining these two parts receives sunlight, turns into deep blue or black color. And the part of the leaf which does not receive sunlight, means this part turns into pale color. Means this part does not get light. Result. Based on this activity, we concluded that sunlight is essential to form starch in green plant. Without sunlight, plant cannot prepare food. Here, the S-shaped portion and these two portions receives sunlight, no. That's why these three parts turns into deep blue color, and this part which we covered with the light screen turns into pale color. Precaution. Arrange light screen carefully into the leaf. That is the precaution should be taken by doing this experiment. Again I repeat the experiment once again. See here. What is sunlight is necessary to form starch in green plants. Aim to explain about the importance of sunlight to form starch in green plants. Materials required are apparatus, a well-potted plant with narrow long leaves, light screen with S-shaped cut portion, iodine solution. Procedure. Take a well-potted plant, keep it in dark for a week to de-starch, means removal of starch from the plant or stored carbohydrates in the plant. After that, select a narrow leaf and attach a light screen with H-shaped cut portion to the one of the leaf. Keep the entire setup in sunlight for 3 to 4 hours. After that, cut the leaf from the plant and test for starch. Observation. The part of the leaf which receives sunlight, turns into deep blue color, and the part of the leaf which does not receive sunlight here, this part turns into pale color, this part turns into deep blue or black color. So this is the experiment. Next, last one, precaution. Arrange light screen carefully to one of the leaf. Here you can observe two scientists here. One is Ingenhousz, another one is Julius von Sachs. Ingenhousz is the scientist who described about the importance of sunlight. Keep it in mind. Already we learned some scientists in previous class. That is Priestley, Lavoisier, C.B. van Til. C.B. van Til discovered the equation of photosynthesis. Priestley discovered the gas oxygen, and Lavoisier named that gas is oxygen. Here Ingenhousz. Who is that? Ingenhousz explained about the importance of sunlight to plants. Next scientist, Julius von Sachs. Julius von Sachs said that green parts only can perform photosynthesis. Where green parts present in the plant? Leaves and young stems. Leaves and young stems are in green color due to the presence of a pigment known as chlorophyll. A scientist called Julius von Sachs said that green parts only can perform photosynthesis. Here we can find out another scientist called Pelletier. He is the scientist who described about that green parts known as chloroplast. That green parts known as chloroplast means chlorophyll present in chloroplast, said by Pelletier. Here, leaf. Green leaves and young stems can perform photosynthesis. Here, next topic in first lesson, transverse section of leaf. Leaf is the structure which receives sunlight to perform photosynthesis. So, leaf is also called as food factory of plant. Leaf is also called as food factory of plant. Already we know that leaf have two sides, upper side and lower side. This is the upper side of leaf and this is the lower side of leaf. Leaf is the structure which receives sunlight to perform photosynthesis. So, leaf is called as food factory of plant. So, if you want to observe the internal structure of leaf, you have to observe the transverse section of leaf. Means you have to cut the leaf horizontally. If you will cut the leaf horizontally, we can find out the parts which present in leaf. Transverse section of leaf also called as internal structure of leaf. Transverse section of leaf also called as internal structure of leaf. In leaf, we can find out two sides, upper side and lower side. Upper epidermis, lower epidermis. In the two layers, we can find out a thick layer known as cuticle. This is the upper side of leaf and this is the lower side of leaf. In between of two epidermal layers, we can find out some cells that is known as mesophyll tissue. Mesophyll means middle. In between of two epidermal layers, we can find out some tissues or cells known as mesophyll tissues. First mesophyll tissue is palisade parenchyma. What is that? Palisade parenchyma. On lower side we can find out spongy parenchyma. It is a tissue. Palisade parenchyma, spongy parenchyma. What is the difference between palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma? I will ask one question. Already all you observed leaves in your surrounding. In leaf, which part is thicker and which part is light in color? Already we know that upper side of leaf have dark green in color compared to the lower ones. Means here palisade parenchyma contain more chloroplast than spongy parenchyma. That is the major difference between palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma present near upper epidermis means upper side of leaf. Spongy parenchyma present near lower side of leaf. So in between our palisade and spongy parenchyma, we can find out a vascular tissue. Already we learned about vascular tissue in 9th class. The tissue which is helpful for transportation here, xylem and phloem, both united together is called vascular tissue, simply called as vascular bundle. Vascular means transport. Here, xylem, phloem. Already we learned in 9th class, xylem helpful to transport water from roots to all parts of the plant. Phloem helps to transport food from leaves to all parts of the plant. Both helpful for transportation. One is for transportation of water, one is for transportation of food. Both united together is called vascular bundle. And upper palisade parenchyma, lower spongy parenchyma. No. What is, already we learned one difference between palisade and spongy parenchyma. Palisade parenchyma contains more chlorophyll pigment. That's why this part is more green in color than lower one. And if you will observe here, another difference already you also observing here. See here, arrangement, cells arrangement here. Here cells are tightly packed. There is no air spaces in between of two cells. Here we can find out some spaces here. That is the another difference in between of palisade parenchyma and spongy parenchyma. In palisade parenchyma we can find out cells are tightly packed, here loosely packed. No air spaces, several air spaces are there. In lower epidermis we can find out some openings known as stomata. Leaves also perform respiration. For this they require some gases. No. We have nostrils to take oxygen, release carbon dioxide. Like that, plants also have some natural openings called stomata, which present in the lower side of the leaf known as stomata. They have natural openings called stomata. With the help of stomata, already we know that which gas is required to plants in the process of photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide. Which gas is released? Oxygen. So plants will take CO2 and oxygen in the process of photosynthesis through these stomata. And in the process of respiration, plants take oxygen, release carbon dioxide. These also takes place through stomata. Stomata surrounded by two cells here. See here, dark shaded portion here. No, these two are called guard cells. Do you know what is the shape of guard cell? Is kidney shaped or bean shape. Kidney shape or bean shape. These guard cells will give protection to the stomata. This is about transverse section of leaf. In the exam point of view, this is very important as this as a diagram. So this is the transverse section of leaf. Next, here already we learnt about one of the scientists known as Pelletier, and next scientist is Cavento. Cavento and Pelletier both said that green color pigments called chlorophyll present in only chloroplast. Do you know chlorophyll not present throughout the plant? This chlorophyll present in a special organelle called chloroplast. Already we know that, already we learnt in 9th class, chloroplast. Next, a scientist called Daniel Arnon. He is the scientist who described about the total chloroplast. What is that? Total chloroplast can perform photosynthesis. The total chloroplast can perform photosynthesis. Already we know that green plants are green in color due to the presence of a pigment known as chlorophyll. This chlorophyll present in a special organelle, already we learnt in 9th class. This is called chloroplast, only present in plant cell, absent in animal cell. Let us discuss about chloroplast. Transverse section of chloroplast means if you will cut the chloroplast horizontally, we can find out the structure like this. Chloroplast. First let us discuss about the shape. What is the shape? If you will observe, this is disc shape or oval shape, egg shape. What are the membranes surrounded the chloroplast? Three membranes here. See, outer layer, inner membrane or layer, and thylakoid layer, third layer. How many membranes present in the chloroplast? Three membranes. Outer membrane, inner membrane, thylakoid membrane. How many membranes are there? Three. Here, thylakoid membrane form stalk. Stalk means bundle. So many thylakoid membranes united together one upon another to form a structure called granum or grana. So, do you know a green color pigment called chlorophyll present in granum? So this is granum will be dash in color, green in color due to the presence of a pigment known as chlorophyll. And this is empty portion is there. No, this is the colorless portion. This is the colorless portion. Means there is no chlorophyll pigments there. That is called stroma. That is called stroma. Do you know? Chlorophyll is required for photosynthesis. All we know that. I'll explain about another important point which associated with that pigment means axillary pigments. What is that? Keep it in mind. Write down axillary pigments. Axillary means extra. Up to 9th class, we know only chlorophyll pigment helpful for photosynthesis. Along with chlorophyll pigment, other pigments also helpful for photosynthesis. They are axillary pigments. Axillary means extra. Along with chlorophyll, other pigments like xanthophyll, keratin, all along with chlorophyll present in grana helpful for photosynthesis. Along with chlorophyll, no doubt about that, chlorophyll is the major pigment which is helpful for photosynthesis. Along with chlorophyll, xanthophyll, keep it in mind. What is that? Xanthophyll, yellow in color, keratin, orange color, pigments also present in granum, helpful for photosynthesis. So, this is the structure of chloroplast. This is very important in the exam point of view. This question will come at 4 marks in your public examinations. Again, I repeat the transfer section of chloroplast. First, let us discuss about the shape. What is the shape? First point, it is the disc-shaped structure or oval or egg-shaped structure present in the mesophyll tissues of the leaf. Mesophyll means middle of the leaves. First point. Second point, how many membranes are there here? 3. Outer membrane, inner membrane and a thylakoid membrane. How many membranes are there? 3. Second point. Third point, stalks of thylakoid membrane called granum. Stalks means bundle. When thylakoid membrane present one upon another to form a stalk-like structure or bundle-like structure known as granum. That is third point. Fourth point, chlorophyll and the axillary pigment. Axillary means extra pigments like xanthophyll, keratin along with chlorophyll present in granum. Fourth point. Fifth point, colorless area present in chloroplast called stroma. Colorless area present in chloroplast called stroma. This is fifth point. Sixth point, light reaction. Afterwards we will discuss about that topic. There are 2 types of chlorophyll pigment present in granum, that is chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. What are they? Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. Chlorophyll A is blue-green in color, chlorophyll B is yellow-green in color. These 2 pigments along with the axillary pigments like xanthophyll, keratin helpful for photosynthesis. Last point in chloroplast is, this is the special organelle which present in only plant cell trap solar energy to perform photosynthesis in a green plant. In the exam point of view, sometimes they'll ask like this. Draw the diagram of chloroplast and what is the importance of chloroplast in photosynthesis? They'll ask like this. Already we know how to draw this diagram, and chloroplast is the organelle, special organelle which helpful to trap solar energy, which helpful to prepare starch in the process of photosynthesis. This is the transfer section of chloroplast. Again, first parts you have to observe again once. See here, granum, thylakoid, starch grain, loop of DNA, lipid globule, membrane. Up to here, we learned about autotrophic nutrition. Up to here, autotrophic nutrition completed. Already, we learned about experiments in first lesson nutrition, and also we learned about chloroplast. Means autotrophic nutrition will be completed. Again, I repeat about autotrophic nutrition within 1 or 2 sentences. Autotrophic nutrition is a type of nutrition which is performed by green plants in the process of photosynthesis. Which organisms can perform autotrophic nutrition are? One is green plants, And some photosynthetic bacteria, some algae which present in water, they also perform photosynthesis along with the green plants. Next topic in first lesson, heterotrophic nutrition. Already we learnt about autotrophic nutrition in previous classes, no? Next heading, heterotrophic nutrition. It is a type of nutrition which occurs in non-green plants or animals. That type of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. Examples, human beings, amoeba, paramecium. They are comes to heterotrophs. Why? Because they does not have chlorophyll. Means they cannot perform photosynthesis. So they are called heterotrophs. Already we learnt about autotrophs in previous classes. They can prepare their own food made in the process of photosynthesis. They are called autotrophs. We means animals. We are social animal, no? We are called heterotrophs. We perform a type of nutrition called heterotrophic nutrition. Here we can find out a picture which shows about the nutrition in amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular organism. It does not have a particular shape. They move one place to another place with the help of pseudopodia. All you learnt in 8th class. With the help of pseudopodia, they capture the food materials here. This is the food material. They live in water, no? They capture the food material with the help of pseudopodia and ingest the food inside of the body. That is called ingestion. Ingestion means intake of food. This type of nutrition is called holozoic nutrition. Keep it in mind. Holozoic nutrition means already food is inserted here where the digestion takes place inside of the body, known as holozoic nutrition. Here paramecium, slipper animalcule, we know that. Here paramecium, in paramecium also we can find out holozoic nutrition. What is the major difference between amoeba and paramecium? Amoeba does not have a particular place, very important bit. Amoeba does not have a particular place to entry of food. Food enter into the amoeba throughout their body surface. They does not have a particular place to entry of food. Whereas in paramecium we can find out a special place to entry of food that is known as oral groove. Keep it in mind. Oral groove. What is that? Oral groove. A particular place is there to entry of food inside of the paramecium. So here does not have particular place to entry of food. Here there is a place to entry of food into the paramecium. So entry of food into paramecium is known as cytostome. Keep it in mind. Cytostome. What is meant by cytostome? Entry of food into paramecium through oral groove is known as cytostome. Already in these two, digestion takes place inside of the body, that is known as holozoic nutrition. Digestion takes place in food vacuole. Inside of the body they have special vacuoles known as food vacuoles which are helpful to digest the food inside of the body. So both are the examples of organisms which perform holozoic nutrition. So next,